Hey, welcome back to the Dr. Jim Cares podcast. My name is Dr. Augustine from Head to Wellness. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing how athletes can benefit from the carnivore diet. So, for those of you that don't know, the carnivore diet is a high protein, low carbohydrate diet that consists of animal products such as meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. It offers great potential benefits for athletes because of optimized performance, and this is what we've seen in actually not only in myself but in other people that actually do some sort of sports and physical activity. So in this video we're going to explore the science behind the carnivore diet and how it certainly benefits athletes. So in the first part we're going to talk about the science that's behind carnivore. The carnivore diet is based on the idea that first humans ate animal products and that plant-based foods are not necessary for optimal health. We also know that today plants were originally designed with plant toxins in them, which creates problems within our body, and that being a problem can create inflammation and a whole bunch of other assortment of things. So scientific evidence shows studies that suggest that animal-based diets are beneficial for certain health outcomes, and one study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that high protein, low-carb diet led to greater weight loss and improvements in blood lipid levels, like your cholesterol, compared to a lower-fat diet, high carbohydrate. Another study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found that a high-protein diet improves body composition and strength resistance trained athletes. So let's talk about the potential benefits for the carnivore diet for athletes. So let's take a closer look here. So benefit number one, high protein content animal products provide the essential building blocks for repairing muscle tissue. But also for athletes, this can be especially beneficial since they require more protein than the average sedentary person. Proteins also plays a role in regulating appetite and promoting satiety, being satisfied when you eat, which can help athletes maintain a healthier weight. Benefit number two, animal-based foods are often high in essential micronutrients, including zinc, B vitamins, and a whole bunch of others. So A, D, E, and K, the fat-soluble vitamins, are also present, especially in organ meats. So these macronutrients are crucial for energy metabolism and overall performance, making the carnivore diet a very attractive option for athletes who want to optimize their performance. Some animal products, such as fatty fish, are also rich in omega-3 fatty acids. These are beneficial for their anti-inflammatory benefits. So in other words, an athlete, especially an endurance athlete, doing their, let's just pick a sport and say cycling, Tour de France racers, and they're doing higher protein and certainly high fat diets, they're going to be so anti-inflammatory that their recovery is much more speeded up. They'll have a quicker recovery, which is great. Eating organ meats in addition with it put into this carnivore diet is especially essential because it'll give you kind of all well-rounded, wonderful nutrition that people are complaining about the carnivore diet that doesn't provide. It actually does. If you have some liver or you're taking a organ meat supplement, you'll get all the nutrients necessary for your body to function normally. Benefit number three, low carbohydrate intake. The carnivore diet is definitely low carb, which means that it's going to be beneficial for athletes in several different ways. First, it can help to regulate insulin and blood sugar. So that can be a problem if you're in an endurance sport, and classically, if you've run a marathon before, you realize that after mile 15, your blood sugar really starts to dip, and that's a problem, and that really can affect your performance. Whereas putting in some good essential fats, fat has twice the energy as sugar does. Matter of fact, sugar is 4 kilocalories per gram. Fat is 9 kilocalories per gram. So fat is a much more efficient fuel for your body, plus its anti-inflammatory effects. So great things for that sustained energy level during physical activity or extended physical activity. Benefit number four, the anti-inflammatory that we were talking about. So those omega-3 fatty acid fish plus other fats just from red meat and chicken, that can give you more sustained energy, but it's also very, very anti-inflammatory. Again, look at recovery. Your recovery will be much, much better and much, much faster. Benefit number 5, of course, weight management. That just makes sense, right? Weight management. Carnivore diet can be certainly an effective way to manage weight, especially in the off season. As you may know, carbohydrates, high carbohydrate diet, carbo loading before a major event tends to give your body a whole bunch of glycogen, which is the stored carbohydrates, into your muscles and your liver. And that's typically that fast burning fuel that tends to burn out relatively quickly. But the interesting thing is the science, and when you've looked back and studied the elite athletes in Olympics, the elite athletes that were spectacular at marathons and those endurance sports, in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, they're getting all sorts of chronic illnesses because of that carbo loading and the spike and roller coaster of blood sugar problems causing damage to their vascular system. A really great guy, he was an Olympic marathon runner, Jeff Galloway. Just a couple of years ago, he had a pretty major heart attack. And this guy, he's phenomenal. He wrote the Galloway's book on running. I recommend it, highly recommend it, because his techniques on training for marathons, wonderful. It's been a game changer for marathon runners. Again, but that essential nutrient that you're providing to your body is completely switched now. Matter of fact, there are entire teams within the Tour de France race, entire bicycle teams doing a ketogenic and or moving more towards a carnivore diet because of their performance results. So phenomenal stuff going on there. So let's talk about the essentials of the carnivore diet. Number 1, the thing that was talked about, number 1, is people say, well, you get nutrient deficiency. You're not going to get all your nutrition, so you need to stick with a plant-based diet. But that's actually not so true. Why? Because of using not only the nutrients, the macro and micronutrients that are in animal protein, animal fat, but then also if you throw in those organ meats, that's going to make a huge difference and provide all the nutrients necessary for your body to function well. So let's now talk about number 2, fiber. What about fiber? Where are you going to get your fiber in an animal-based diet? Well, you actually don't need it, because if you put in enough essential fats, that will cause really great GI, gastrointestinal motility. It'll move your GI tract really well, and therefore you won't have a problem. How about limited food options? That's another problem that people talk about. Well, gosh, animal protein just gets boring after a while. You can't, what, you're always eating red meat, hamburger, and beef, that sort of thing. No, there's a lot of options. I mean, you can have a bunch of different cuts of beef, which are spectacular. There's a great, great person on YouTube that I would recommend looking for and looking up. Her name is Laura Spath, S-P-A-T-H. This woman has lost over 120 pounds of body fat, and she's a regular person, has a husband, and she has children, but she has great creative ways to make all sorts of animal protein taste amazing. She does chicken, she does pork in all different ways and fashions, and it really, really is not that difficult to do. So you can have a lot of variety, but the big thing about it is what's going to happen to your body as you do the carnivore diet. It's actually very spectacular. Less inflammation, or like no inflammation. Your performance in whatever activity physically you're going to do is going to be better. Your recovery is going to be faster because it's super anti-inflammatory. There's so many benefits. So food-wise, yes, beef. You can have hamburger. You can have a bunch of different cuts of beef. You can have chicken. You can have fish. You can have pork. You can have lamb. So a lot of different variety in animal proteins and animal fats. What about turkey? Turkey's another one that's really, really good. So let me summarize the biggest reasons why the carnivore diet is super beneficial for athletes. Number 1, you get all the necessary macronutrients that athletes need, such as proteins for lean muscle. So if you provide the building blocks for muscle, for both performance and exercise, because of breakdown in muscle tissue from the exercise itself, as well as providing what's necessary to strengthen and build your muscles up, animal protein, animal fat, spectacular. Number 2, fat for sustained energy and decreased inflammation. Again, twice the energy of sugar, but without the inflammation. That's a great thing. It greatly diminishes inflammation. That's an excellent thing for recovery. Number 3, blood sugar. Blood sugar stability. Training on a carnivore diet really corrects the imbalances in blood sugar so that you're going to have more sustained energy without the blood sugar roller coasters. So those are the main reasons. So if you decide to actually do the carnivore diet, it's essential to do a thoughtful and deliberate process so as you start it. You want to start this gradually, reducing your intake of carbohydrates while increasing your intake of protein-rich animal fats and products. So you want to definitely include organ meats or an organ meat supplement if you hate liver or if that grosses you out. Another thing is electrolytes. Because of the sweating that occurs from a high physical activity, you want to definitely put in electrolytes and omega-3s. Classically, we get too many omega-6s, which would be from, say, certain animal proteins. You can get those from chicken and pork, but also, too, the other omega-6 fatty acids from, seed oils. Seed oils are dreadful. Avoid seed oils like the plague, and vegetable oils. But you want a ratio of 1-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3. Classically, the average American is 20 omega-6s to 1 omega-3. If we can flip that around and get it more equal, you're going to have more anti-inflammation, which is a great thing. And let's see, what else can I tell you about this that's so good? Your performance is going to be better. You're going to have more sustained energy. And it just is the diet that works the best because classically, and here's a good example, I've run marathons for quite a while. And over time, you really don't want to run them because you feel that your body's just getting beaten down. Now, when I ran them, I didn't do a high carb diet, but I did some carbohydrates because your body seems to want and need those. Of course, I had no clue about doing a carnivore diet, high protein, high fat. Now the physiology is completely changed to where we feel and function better. I'm saying we because I still do endurance activities that I notice such a massive and major difference in. So I recommend doing this. I think you'll really have great results with this. And let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you need help with any of these health challenges that you may be experiencing and or you want just more information about the carnivore diet, please let me know. You can contact me at draugustine@gmail.com or call my office 562-860-3404. I'd love to hear your comments or questions. Leave them below. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and or subscribe if you like this information. I'm on, let's see, as far as social media, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, as well as YouTube. I'm also doing podcasts, so I'm on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, so you can also hear me there. Love to have you give me some thumbs up there because it really does help the channel out a bunch. So, with all of that, my name is Dr. Augustine from Head to Wellness. I hope this helps. Let me know. Have a great day.